Hello friends, welcome to Fairs Club Learn to Lead. Good morning to all the students. As you know, we already completed the December month weekly current affairs and today we will discuss the weekly quiz of the first week of the 2023. It means we will discuss the January 1st week, means 1st to 7th of Jan 2023 current affairs. So this is the first weekly video of the 2023. So watch this video till last and watch carefully. But first of all, you have to download our application Careers Cloud from the Google Play Store. After that, log in with your email ID. Then click on this Crack Current Affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But the most important thing, what we are covering under this 1 year and the 2 year subscription, we are providing you daily section. In the daily section, you will receive 3 things. One is the detailed current affair. Second is the question and answer format of current affairs, but both will be provided in the form of PDF or in the form of ebook. And third is the quiz section, and this can be attempted only on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, we are providing 3 things. One is the detailed current affairs, second is the question and answer format, but both things will be provided in the PDF format, and third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Next is the monthly section, and in the monthly section we are providing you 4 type of PDFs. One is the detailed current affair PDF, which is known as study PDF. Next, all the detailed current affairs will be converted in the form of question and answer. That's why it is known as question and answer PDF, so that you can revise all the current affairs in the question and answer format. Next is the best 100 current affairs will be provided. That is also provided in the form of question and answer. And last is the pocket PDF. It means 1-liner, 2-liner or the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you, so that you can revise these current affairs very quickly before your exam. Next is topic wise current affair. This is very important section because we are providing 20 most important topic wise PDF. If you want to revise 1 or 2 particular topics, then you can use this topic wise PDF. If you are a banking student, then we are providing 3 things. One is detail, second is question and answer format of current affairs, but only related to banking and economy, and third is the quiz section. It is also only related to banking and economy, and you can attempt this quiz section only on our application on monthly basis. Next is exam PDF. If you want to cover all the current affairs before your exam of particular year, then you can use this exam PDF. Next is special current affair section. In the special current affair, we are providing you budget and economic survey. 2 things we are providing. One is detail, budget and economic survey. Second is question and answer format of budget and economic survey. It means you can recall that examiner can make these type of questions from budget and economic survey. If you are preparing for your respective state exam, then we are also providing state current affairs, and we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under only one subscription. First of all, you have to just download our application Careers Cloud, then click on this Crack Current Affairs section, and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 years. And if you want 10% extra discount, then you can use this code ASH10. If you have any query, then you can email us on this email ID or you can call us on this number. So let's start the weekly quiz, and this is the 2023 first weekly video, and this is the January 1st week, 1st to 7th of Jan 2023, and here is the first question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the inauguration of railway projects by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in December 2022? Let's find out which statement is correct regarding the railway projects. First is, Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually inaugurated the railway projects worth Rs 7,600 crore in the West Bengal area, and he dedicated 4 railway projects to the nation. So first statement is true. Next, he also flagged off the 7th Vande Bharat Express from the Havda to New Jalpaiguri station. This is again very important, and he also inaugurated the Joka and the Trathla 6.5 kilometer stretch of the Purple Line in the Calcutta Metro. So just remember, this is the 7th Vande Bharat Express which started from Havda to New Jalpaiguri. This statement is also true. He laid the foundation stone for the redevelopment of New Jalpaiguri railway station at the cost of more than 335 crore. This statement is also true. But the second statement is important. All the statements are correct. Answer of this question is 4. Moving to next question. Name the company that has recently collaborated with Art Park, which is also known as Artificial Intelligence Robotics Technological Park, ISC Bengaluru, to launch Project Vani. Project Vani, a pan-India inclusive language data initiative. And name of this company is Google. Answer of this question is second, and mark this question in the important section. So Art Park, which is known as Artificial Intelligence Robotic Technological Park, which is a not-for-profit organization backed by IISc Bengaluru, has collaborated with Google to launch Project Vani, which is a all India or the pan-India inclusive language data initiative for the open source datasets at Google for India 2022 event, which was held in New Delhi. And this will amplify Government of India Digital India efforts by including more diverse regional and the local languages. And Project Vani aims to compile comprehensive datasets of transcripted text and spoken languages from each district in India and are open sourced via Vani's website. So this is a project between the Google and Art Park, which is backed by IISc Bengaluru. Moving to next question. In December 2022, the Government of India approved the Print and Digital Media Association as a self-regulatory body for publishers of news and current affairs across India. Who will head the Print and Digital Media Association, which is also known as PADAM? This is Mool Chand Garg. Answer of this question is 4. So, Government of India has approved the Print and Digital Media Association, which is known as PADAM, as a self-regulatory body for the publishers of news and current affairs across India. So, PADMA, an organization with 47 digital news publishers, will look at grievances related to digital media news content on its platform. And the Ministry of Information Broadcasting intimated the approval through an officer order on the 2nd of December 2022. And the organization will be headed by former High Court Chief Justice known as Mool Chand Garg and have a part-time member of Prasar Bharati, Ashok Kumar Tandonji and journalist Manoj Kumar Mishra ji as member. But the chairman is Mool Chand Garg. Moving to next question and mark this question in the very important section. Name the bank that has recently partnered with SBI Card to launch co-branded credit card. This question is static, very important for the banking students, and this bank is Punjab and Sindh Bank. Answer of this question is 4. Punjab and Sindh Bank, a public sector bank, has partnered with SBI Card to launch co-branded credit card for the bank's customer. This marks the entry of Punjab and Sindh Bank into the credit card as a new product segment under the bank's portfolio. It means Punjab and Sindh Bank will take help from the SBI Card to launch the credit cards. So under the partnership, 3 card variants have been launched, including PSB, Punjab and Sindh Bank SBI Card, Elite section. Next is Prime section, and fourth one is Simplify Save SBI Card. So these 3 sections will be launched by SBI Card and the Punjab and Sindh Bank. Moving to next question. What is the total loan amount provided by the Asian Development Bank to the Shriram Finance Limited to provide vehicle loans to the women entrepreneurs? So again, this question is very important and total loan amount is $100 million. Answer of this question is 4. So Asian Development Bank has sanctioned $100 million or almost 830 crore rupees external commercial borrowing or ECB, which is a 5-year loan under the lender's social finance framework to Shriram Finance Limited, which is a part of Shriram Group, to provide vehicle loans to the women entrepreneurs. And the credit will be issued towards the purchase of new and used vehicles throughout India. Besides the Asian Development Loan, Shriram Finance has also raised $250 million from the US Development Finance Corporation and $475 million through the 144A bond from the international market in the year of 2022. Moving to next question. Which bank has recently signed a scheme transfer agreement to transfer the mutual fund schemes to the LIC mutual fund? So static question you can remember from the slide also, and this bank is IDBI Bank. So answer of this question is second. So IDBI Bank has signed a scheme transfer agreement with the LIC mutual fund for the transfer of schemes of IDBI mutual funds to the LIC mutual fund to comply with the regulation 7B of the Securities and Exchange Board of India mutual fund regulation. And you can also remember IDBI Bank Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer is Rakesh Sharma, and this bank was established in 1964 and its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Moving to next question. Name the bank that has recently reappointed, not appointed, reappointed Suresh Kishan Chand Khatnahar as the Deputy Managing Director for time period of 1 year with effect from 15th of Jan 2023. And this bank is again IDBI Bank. So answer of this question is 3. So remember, the Board of Directors of IDBI Bank Limited reappointed Suresh Kishan Chand ji as the Deputy Managing Director of IDBI Bank for the time period of 1 year with effect from 15th of Jan 2023 according to the Reserve Bank of India approval. As on 15th of Jan 2020, the IDBI Bank Board appointed Suresh Kishan Chand ji as Deputy Managing Director for the time period of 3 years. Now 1 year time period extended. Moving to next question. In December 2022, Adani Group acquired dash of equity stake sold by NDTV founder Pranay Roy and Radhika Roy for 602.30 crore or almost 600 crores. So mark this question in the very important section. And total share is 27.26%. Answer of this question is 4. So Pranay Roy and Radhika Roy, founders of the news broadcaster, sold 27.26% of their equity in the New Delhi Television or NDTV to Adani Group controlled Radhika Roy Pranay Roy Holding Private Limited at rupees 342.65 per share, or you can say almost $4.14 per share. And based on the price acquired by the Adani Group, the Roys would have received almost 600 crore or exactly 602.30 crore from the sale of 1.75 crore shares. As on December 23, Pranay Roy and Radhika Roy announced the sale of 27.26% out of their remaining 32.26% shareholding in the NDTV to the Adani Group. So just remember, this is very important question because maximum stake now goes to Adani Group. Moving to next question. According to the World Bank, Dash will be the first country in the world to receive $100 billion from remittances during 2022. And I think every student knows this country is India. Answer of this question is 4. So according to the World Bank, India will be the first country in the world to receive $100 billion from remittances during 2022. Through remittances to the rest of the South Asian countries declined by 10%. But in case of India, it rose by 12%. So India had received almost $89 billion in remittance in 2021 according to the World Bank report, which then made India the top recipient globally. Now also India is the top recipient globally, but the amount is $100 billion. Even it is more than $100 billion. Moving to next question. Who is the current Director General of National Anti-Doping Agency or NADA of India? Mark this question in the very important section, and Director General is Ritu Sen. Answer of this question is 4. And NADA of India confirmed the development of an application that will help athletes to verify medicines, helping them avoid doping. And NADA India is also in process of sensitizing 20 dope controlled officers to specialize in collecting samples of athletes with disabilities in keeping with the different needs. So remember, Ritu Sen is currently the Director General of National Anti-Doping Agency. Moving to next question. In January 2023, the Department of Economic Affairs raised the interest rate on a number of small savings schemes for the fourth quarter, like for the Q4 of the financial year 23. It is specially for Jan to March 2023. Which of the following point is incorrect with respect to the small savings schemes and their interest rate as of January 2023? So let's find out which statement is incorrect. So here is the first statement. The interest rate of the senior citizen savings account has changed to 8.0% from 7.6%. Now it is increased to 0.4%. So it is 8%. So this statement is true. Next is, the 5-year recurring deposit has remained unchanged with an interest rate of 5.8%. So this statement is also true. Next is, Kisan Vikas Patra has changed to 190 months of the maturity period with an interest rate of 7.0% from 124 months of maturity period with an interest rate of 6.9%. This statement is basically wrong because Kisan Vikas Patra has changed to 120 months, not to 190, 120 months of the maturity period with an interest rate of 7.2% from earlier 123 months of the maturity period with an interest rate of 7%. So this statement is wrong and this statement is very, very important. Next is the Public Provident Fund or PPF has remained unchanged with the interest rate of 7.10%. This statement is also true. So it means only incorrect statement is 3. So answer of this question is 3. Moving to next question. Which scheme or program of the Ministry of Rural Development has recently launched the Prajvala Challenge, unlock the rural economic opportunity, inviting ideas, solutions and actions to transform rural economy? And this is basically comes under one scheme which is known as Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission. So answer of this question is 4. So the Ministry of Rural Development flagship poverty alleviation program which is known as Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission has launched the Prajvala Challenge. Remember this keyword, Prajvala Challenge, unlock the rural economic opportunity with an aim to invite ideas, solutions and actions that can transform rural economy. So Prajvala Challenge is a first of its kind nationwide initiative to provide thoughtful minds with a platform to present new, innovative and scalable pathways for the rural economic transformation in India. And applications are open from 29th of December to 31st of Jan 2023. Moving to next question. Name the country that has recently adopted the euro currency and became a part of the Europe's border-free Schengen zone. Mark this question in the very important section, and this country is Croatia. Answer of this question is 4. So Croatia, the youngest member of the European Union, adopted the euro currency and it became a part of Europe's border-free Schengen zone. And Croatia, a Balkan country, is now the 20th member of the Eurozone and the 27th country to join the passport-free Schengen zone. And Croatia is the former Yugoslav republic that fought an independence war in the 1990s and joined the European Union in the year of 2013. And the European Union member states that have adopted the euro as their national currency collectively refer to themselves as the euro area or the Eurozone. And the euro will progressively replace the kuna currency as the official currency of Croatia starting on the January 1st, 2023. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the 26th issue of the Financial Stability Report released by the RBI in December 2022? This is 26th issue of the Financial Stability Reports. Let's find out which statement is correct. First one is India current account deficit widened to 4.4% of the GDP in the quarter 2 of the financial year 23, which is highest since the June quarter of 2013. This is current account deficit. So this is this comes under the balance of accounts, and we are talking about current account, and it increases, and it is increased by 4.4% of GDP, and this statement is true. So A statement is true. Next is India's foreign exchange reserves on the balance of payment basis recorded a deficit of $30.4 billion compared to $31.2 billion surplus in the quarter 2 of the financial year 22. This statement is also true. As per the 26th Financial Stability Report, the net non-performing assets dropped to 10 years low of 1.3% in the September 2022. So remember, the gross non-performing asset ratio of Scheduled Commercial Bank fell to a 7-year low of 5%, and net non-performing assets have dropped to 10-year low to 1.3% in September 2022. So this statement is also true. It means all the statements are correct. Answer of this question is all ABC. Moving to next question. Name the organization that has recently signed an agreement of rupees almost 2300 crore or exactly 2275 crores with the Tripura government to improve the power distribution network in the Tripura. And this organization is one and only Asian Development Bank or ADB. So Tripura government has signed an agreement with the Asian Development Bank worth rupees 2275 crore rupees to strengthen and improve power distribution efficiency in Tripura. And under this, Asian Development Bank will support the state government efforts to strengthen its power sector by replacing inefficient power plants and strengthening the distribution system. And the project will be implemented in 3 years. It means the agreement is for the time period of 3 years. And out of the 2,275 crore fund, the central government will repay 1,820 crore rupees, while the state government will provide 455 crore rupees. And the state government will undertake massive renovation of 2 power projects. One is, remember the name of the power projects, this is Rukia power project in the Sepahijala district, and second one is Gumti hydro project in the Gomti district. Very important. And apart from the ADB funding, an additional amount of 800 crore rupees will be sent to improve the power distribution of the state. Moving to next question. In January 2023, Luis Inacio Lula da Silva was sworn in as the 39th president of which country? We already covered this question in the last class, and this is Brazil. Answer of this question is 4. So Luis Inacio, the veteran left-wing politician known widely as the Lula, was sworn in as the 3rd term as the President of the Republic of Brazil during the inauguration ceremony held at the National Congress in Brasilia in Brazil. And he was sworn in as the 39th President of Brazil by winning the 2022 Brazilian general elections against far-right leader Jair Bolsonaro. And he was also the incumbent president of Brazil from 2019 to 2022. And Luis Inacio was first elected as a president in the year of 2002 and was inaugurated as the president on the 1st of Jan 2003. And he was again re-elected as the president in the year of 2006 for a second term, which ended in 2011. And he governed Brazil for 2 consecutive terms between 2003 to 2010. He won his first term in the year of 2002 and second in 2006. So very important question. Remember, Luis Inacio was sworn in as the 39th president of the country Brazil. Moving to next question. Who has been recently appointed as the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Indian Overseas Bank for a period of 3 years? Mark this question in the very important section, especially for the banking students, and this personality is Ajay Kumar Shrivastava ji. Answer of this question is 1. So Ajay Kumar Shrivastava ji has been appointed as Managing Director and CEO of the Indian Overseas Bank, which is a public sector bank, for the time period of 3 years with effect from the date of assumption of office or 1st of Jan 2023, whichever is earlier. And prior to this appointment, Ajay Kumar Shrivastava was serving as the Executive Director of Indian Overseas Bank, and he was appointed following the superannuation of Partha Pritam Sengupta. This is very, very important. Earlier, the Managing Director and CEO of this bank was PP Sengupta or Partha Pritam Sengupta, and he superannuated on 31st of December 2022. Moving to next question. Who has recently won India's first ever silver medal in World Blitz Championship by defeating Hon Zai Tan of China in Women's World Blitz Championship at the FIDE World Rapid and the Blitz Championship 2022. And remember, this was hosted by Kazakhstan. Exact place is Almaty in Kazakhstan from 25th to 30th of December 2022. And Koneru Humpy. Answer of this question is 3. Koneru Humpy has won India's first ever silver medal in the World Blitz Chess Championship, defeating Honzai Tan of China, and she is the second Indian to win a medal at World Blitz after Viswanathan Anand. Moving to next question, and mark this question in the very important section. Name the personality who has recently become India's 78th Grandmaster in the MPL 59th National Senior Chess Championship 2022, which was held in New Delhi. So 78th Grandmaster of India. This is most important question, and name of this player is Kaustav Chatterjee. Answer of this question is 4. So Calcutta, West Bengal based chess player Kaustav Chatterjee, 19-year-old, became the India's 78th Grandmaster in the 59th National Senior Chess Championship 2022. He is also the 10th Grandmaster from the West Bengal state. and the event was held at KD Yadav Indoor Sports Hall in the IG Stadium, New Delhi, organized by the Delhi Chess Association under the All India Chess Federation or AICF. And you can also remember the first International Master of India in the year of 2023. First International Master of India in the year of 2023 is Hari Madhavan. Hari Madhavan NB. This is the full name, and he is 19-year-old and he belongs to Tamil Nadu. But you can remember 78th Grandmaster of India is Kaustav Chatterjee. He belongs to West Bengal and he is the 10th Grandmaster from the West Bengal state. Moving to next question. Former director of the Tata Sons and Padam Shri awardee Rairoth Kotambali Krishan Kumar or R.K. Krishan Kumar passed away in January 2023. In which year did he receive the Padam Shri award in the field of trade and industry? And he received in the year of 2009. So answer of this question is 1. So in 2009, R.K. Krishan Kumar received the Padam Shri award, which is India's 4th highest civilian honor for his contribution to the Indian trade and industry. He was close confidant of Ratan Tata, well known for his role in the several Tata Group acquisitions, including the acquisition of Tetley in the year of 2000. And the Tata Group veteran and the former director of Tata Sons, remember Padam Shri awardee R.R. Krishan Kumar, passed away in Mumbai, Maharashtra at the age of 84. Moving to next question. India hold the presidency of G20 from 1st of December 2022 to November 30, 2023. Most important question with the theme of Vasudev Kutumbakam. The theme of G20 was inscribed from which of the following? And this was inscribed from the Maha Upanishad. Answer of this question is 4. So India hold the presidency of G20. This is very important, from 1st of December 2022 to November or the 30th of November 2023. And the theme of India's G20 presidency is Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which refers to one earth, one family, one future. It is taken from the Maha Upanishad, an ancient Sanskrit text. And G20 logo features a lotus, a national flower of India, painted in the tricolor like saffron, white and the green and blue, together with an image of earth. And the word Bharat is written in Devanagari script under the G20 logo. Moving to next question. In which state Thane Creek Flamingo Sanctuary is located? Very simple question. By the name you can guess that this is situated in Maharashtra. By the Thane you can guess this is situated in Maharashtra, and this is designated as Ramsar site recently. Ramsar site. This is Thane Creek Flamingo Sanctuary. And the Ramsar Convention, which came into existence in 1971, is an intergovernmental treaty that provides the framework for the national action and the international cooperation for the conservation and wise use of wetlands and their resources. And the convention got its name Ramsar Convention from the city of Ramsar in Iran, where it was signed in 1971 and came into force in 1975. And India joined this convention in 1982. Moving to next question. Who will chair the 17-member high-powered committee which recently constituted by the Ministry of Home Affairs to discuss measures for the protection of Ladakh unique culture, language and employment? And it is a 7-member committee. And who will chair this committee? This will be chaired by Nityanand Rai. Answer of this question is second. So this is set up by Ministry of Home Affairs, who has constituted a 7-member high-powered committee to discuss special measures for the protection of Ladakh unique culture, language, heritage and employment. And it will be chaired by Minister of State Nityanand Rai, who is the Minister of State of Ministry of Home Affairs. And it is to discuss the protection of culture and language considering the geographical location and strategic importance of the Ladakh. And it is also to discuss the protections to land and employment for the people, inclusive development, employment generation, and measures related to the empowerment of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council of Leh and Kargil. Moving to next question. Which of the following statements is or are correct with respect to the National Geospatial Policy of 2022 and Indian and Global Geospatial Market introduced by the Government of India recently in the month of December 2022? So let's find out which statement is correct. First is, the policy relies on the favorable environment created by the guidelines for acquiring and producing geospatial data and geospatial data services including maps. This statement is basically true, and this policy is released by Department of Science and Technology under the Ministry of Science and Technology under the Government of India. Second is, India geospatial economy is expected to surpass 63,000 crore by the year of 2025, growing at a rate of 12.8%. This statement is also true. The policy would strive to create a national geospatial data framework and promote easy availability of data to businesses and the general public. This statement is also true. And the policy also calls for the establishment of a national apex body which will be known as the Geospatial Data Promotion and Development Committee. And the policy also describes the creation of 14 national fundamental sectoral geospatial data themes. So all these statements are correct and all are very, very important. Just read this statement and even you can remember the question as same as in slide. But mark this question in the very important section. Moving to next question. Which of the following banks is or are mentioned under the list of domestic systematically important banks as per the data released by the Reserve Bank of India in January 2023? So, domestic systematically important banks are interconnected entities whose failure can impact the whole of the financial system and create instability, and they are also known as too big to fail. Too big to fail. So, it is also known as too big to fail banks. So, remember these banks are State Bank of India, ICICI and HDFC. Answer of this question is all 1 to 3. So, on January 2nd of the 2023, the Reserve Bank of India released the 2022 list of the domestically systematically important banks based on the data from 31st of March 2022. In this, State Bank of India, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank kept the status of DSIB or domestic systematically important banks. And SBI will be the third bucket with an additional common equity tier or CET1 tier requirement as a percentage of risk weighted asset of 0.60%. And ICICI Bank and HDFC will be in the first bucket with an additional CET1 requirement as a percentage of 0.20%. This is basically the risk weighted asset ratio of 0.20. You don't have to remember the technicality, just remember domestic systematically important banks are too big to fail banks and whose failure can impact the whole of the financial system and create instability, and these banks are SBI, ICICI, HDFC. Moving to next question. Microsoft recently partnered with which bank for its digital transformation journey? It means this bank will be transformed digitally, especially with the help of Microsoft, and this bank is HDFC Bank. And this bank for mobile banking experience, and this bank is Yes Bank. So answer of this question is 3, HDFC and Yes Bank. So HDFC Bank partnered with the Microsoft for the next phase of its digital transformation journey and unlocked business value by transforming the application portfolio, modernizing the data landscape and securing the enterprise with the Microsoft Cloud. And HDFC Bank, as a part of its future ready strategy, is developing in-house internet protocols and also partnering with the several companies including the financial technological companies to recreate technologies of the internet protocols. And with the Yes Bank also partnered with the Microsoft to introduce the next generation mobile application experience for providing personalized banking experience to its customers. And the application will run on Microsoft Enterprise Grade Cloud Platform and will support Yes Bank in scaling up services by bringing merchants and ecosystem partners to a common platform. So just remember, HDFC tied up with the Microsoft for the next phase of the digital transformation journey, and Yes Bank tied up with the Microsoft for the mobile banking experience, especially to its customers. Moving to next question. Name the Indian startup accelerator that recently partnered with the ICICI Bank and Infosys Finacle to foster startup ecosystem. This is again very important question, and this is India Accelerator. Answer of this question is second. So India Accelerator, a seed stage accelerator program, has launched I3 Launchpad. I3 Launchpad, which was developed in partnership with the ICICI Bank and Infosys Finacle, which is a part of H-Verve system, which is a fully owned subsidiary of Infosys. And I3 Launchpad is a program that fosters and co-innovate with India's startup ecosystem. And the main objective is to support a network of entrepreneurs on a quest to develop brands with the global impact. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the names of India's best player of 2022 in all three formats released by the Board of Cricket, or you can say this is BCCI, in January 2023. So let's find out which statement is true, and this is very interesting question. First is Rishabh Pant, the wicketkeeper batsman, and the Jasprit Bumrah, the bowler, named as the Team India 2022 best performers in the Test title. And this statement is basically true. So Team India 2022 best performer in Test. One is Rishabh Pant, the wicketkeeper batsman, recently injured in the accident. And next is Jasprit Bumrah, the bowler. Next is Shreyas Iyer, the batter, and the Mohammad Siraj, the bowler, named for the Team India 2022 best performer in the ODI title. This statement is also true. Surya Kumar Yadav, very interesting player, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bowler, named as the Team India 2022 best performer in the T20 title. This statement is also true. So all the statements are very, very important, and all statements are true. So answer of this question is 1. So remember, the Board of Control for the Cricket in India, BCCI, released the name of the players who were the best performers of Team India across all the three formats. One is the Test, second is ODI, third one is T20. Next question is, who was appointed as the temporary or the interim Chief Executive Officer CEO of BharatPe after the resignation of Sohail Samir in January 2023? This is very important question, and name of this personality is Nalin Negi. Answer of this question is 4. So Sohail Samir, the Chief Executive Officer of the BharatPe, a financial technological startup, has announced the resigned from the CEO position and will transition into a strategic advisor with effect from the 7th of Jan 2023. And Nalin Negi, the Chief Financial Officer of BharatPe, is set to take over as the temporary CEO of BharatPe. And BharatPe also revealed that the company has employed an executive search firm to help with succession planning and to help identify a new CEO. Moving to next question. Who authored the book Ambedkar, A Life, a biography of the Babasaheb Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar at the Kitab Calcutta event? So this question is very important because the book is very important, Ambedkar, A Life. And this is a biography of B.R. Ambedkar ji, and this book is specially authored by Shashi Tharoor ji. Answer of this question is second. So renowned author Shashi Tharoor, the Member of Parliament in the Lok Sabha from the Trivendrapuram, Kerala, has launched the latest book, Ambedkar, A Life, a biography of the Babasaheb Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar at the Kitab Calcutta event, which was organized by the Prabha Khaitan Foundation, or PKF, at the ITC Sonar, presented by the Shri Cement. And the book is published by LF Book Company and promoted by the Rupa Publication India. So just remember, Ambedkar, A Life was authored by Shashi Tharoor. Moving to next question. Who was the last surviving astronaut from the first successful crewed space mission in NASA's Apollo 7 program? NASA's Apollo 7 program. This is basically static question for the general knowledge base, and answer of this question is Walter Cunningham. Answer of this question is second. So Ronnie Walter Cunningham, this is the full name, and was the lunar module pilot on the space flight which landed or which launched from the Cape Kennedy Air Force Station, Florida on 11th of October and splashed down in the Atlantic Ocean south of the Bermuda. And he was the last surviving astronaut from the first successful crewed space mission in the NASA's Apollo 7 program. Apollo 7 program. Moving to next question. With which of the following ministries the Union Minister of Defence Rajnath Singh ji virtually attended the Memorandum of Understanding exchange ceremony and signed outreach program in January 2023? There are two ministries. One is Ministry of Education, second is Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Answer of this question is both 2 and 3. So Union Minister Rajnath Singh ji under the Ministry of Defence virtually attended the MOU ceremony, and this is known as MOU Exchange Ceremony Outreach Program. So the event saw the signing of MOUs and agreements by the Ministry of Defence, and these MOU will enable Agniveers to timely complete their education, develop additional qualities and skill while serving in the armed forces. So one MOU was signed with the National Institute of Open Schooling to provide specially the 12th class certificates, and one MOU was signed with the Indira Gandhi National Open University to award the bachelor degree and diploma certificates to the Agniveers. And the skill sets of the Agniveers have been laid down with the National Occupational Standard or NOS in coordination with the National Skill Development Corporation and the Sector Skill Council. And based on this qualification, Kaushal Praman Pattar will be issued to the Agniveers at the time of their exit from the armed forces. So Agniveers can complete their qualification, complete their education, especially during serving as the Agniveer in the Indian Army. Moving to next question. In January 2023, the National Thermal Power Corporation Limited launched India's first green hydrogen blending operation in the piped natural gas network in Dash area. This question is very important, and this area is one and only Surat, Gujarat. Answer of this question is 1. So NTPC Limited, which is also known as National Thermal Corporation Limited or National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, India's state-owned and the largest energy company, has launched India's first green hydrogen blending operation in the piped natural gas or PNG network of its Kawas township in the Surat, Gujarat. And the project is a collaborative effort between the NTPC and the Gujarat Gas Limited to decarbonize the cooking sector. And P. Ram Prasad, head of the project Kawas, launched the first molecule of the green hydrogen. Moving to next question. In which state Gan Nagai festival was celebrated by the Zeliang Grong or the Kabui community on the 4th of January 2023? So very simple question. You can remember from this Zeliang Grong or the Kabui community, and this community basically belongs to Manipur. So answer of this question is 4. So remember, on 4th of Jan 2023, the Zeliang Grong or the Kabui community of Manipur celebrated the Gan Nagai festival to bring peace, prosperity and unity to the people of Manipur. And the festival also marks the beginning of new year and bids farewell to old year. And the Gan Nagai festival is one of the major festival of the state Manipur, which is celebrated annually after harvesting. And this Zeliang Grong community is one of the major indigenous Naga community living in the tri-junctions of 3 states. One is Assam, second is Manipur, third one is Nagaland in India. Moving to next question. Name the organization that has recently signed a $220 million loan agreement with the Government of India to improve the power sector, especially in the state of Tripura. And this organization is one and only Asian Development Bank. Answer of this question is 3. So Asian Development Bank and the Government of India signed a $220 million pact for the Tripura power distribution, strengthening and generating efficiency improvement project. And the loan amount will be utilized towards improving energy security, quality of supply and efficiency, resilience of the power sector in the Tripura. Moving to next question. Which bank recently launched the first of its kind digital solutions for the exporters, only for the exporters? And this bank is ICICI Bank, so that exporters can be enhanced. So first of its kind industry initiative, ICICI Bank Limited has launched digital solutions for exporters, a comprehensive set of banking and value added services on a single platform. And the initiative intends to improve operational efficiency of the exporters by decongesting the current time-consuming manual procedure. And key services and offerings of the digital solutions for exporters are Insta Export Packing Credit, Trade, APIs, Trade Accounts, Paperless Export Solutions, Foreign Exchange Solution, Digital Letter of Credit Facility, Electronics Bills of Lading, Value Added Services and other things. Moving to next question. Which company has recently partnered with General Atomics Aeronautical Systems to manufacture aerostructures in India? Mark this question in very important section, and this company is Bharat Forge Limited. Answer of this question is 4. And remember, General Atomics Aeronautical System, it is a subsidiary of General Atomics based in San Diego in California, United States of America, has partnered with Bharat Forge Limited, a part of the Kalyani Group, to manufacture aerostructures, main like landing gear components, sub-assemblies and assemblies of remotely piloted aircraft in India. And the partnership between General Atomics and Bharat Forge aims to enhance the capacity building of both companies and provide momentum to the large unmanned aircraft industries of India. And under this partnership, General Atomics Aeronautical System will work with the Bharat Forge in the critical field of aerospace manufacturing. Moving to next question. Who has recently become the first woman officer of the Indian Army to be deployed at Siachen Glacier, world's highest battlefield in the Ladakh area? So mark this question in the most important category because she became the first woman officer of the Indian Army to be deployed at Siachen Glacier. And this is Captain Shiva Chauhan. Answer of this question is 4. So Captain Shiva Chauhan, hailing from the Rajasthan area, has become the first woman officer of the Indian Army to get operationally deployed at Siachen Glacier in Karakoram Range in the Himalayas in Ladakh, the world's highest battlefield, after training at the Siachen Battle School. And she is posted at the Kumar Post at an altitude of almost 15,600 feet, where night temperatures are close to minus 25 degrees Celsius. Moving to next question. In January 2023, India took over the leadership of the Asian Pacific Postal Union, who has been recently elected as the Secretary General of the Asian Pacific Postal Union for the time period of 4 years. And this personality is Vinay Prakash Singh. Answer of this question is 4. So Dr. Vinay Prakash Singh, the former member, Postal Service Board, will take over as a Secretary General of the Asia Pacific Postal Union for the time period of 4 years, following the successful election held during the 13th meeting in Bangkok in Thailand in August and September 2022. And earlier this position was with China's person named as Mr. Lin Hongliang. And he was the outgoing Secretary General of this organization, who was appointed in January 2014. And this marked the first time an Indian has taken the lead of an international postal organization. That's why this question is very important. Moving to next question. The 6th anniversary of BHIM or Bharat Interface for Money Payment application is celebrated on which day? This was celebrated on 30th of December 2022. Static question, and you can remember BHIM is an Indian mobile payment application developed by National Payment Corporation of India based on the UPI or Unified Payment Interface, launched on 30th of December 2016 by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this is the 6th anniversary of indigenously developed payment application BHIM or Bharat Interface for Money is celebrated on 30th of December 2022. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the cabinet approvals on 4th of Jan 2023? First statement is, the cabinet approved the Central Sector Scheme Broadcasting Infrastructure and Network Development at a cost of rupees almost 2500 crore up to rupees 2025-26 for the infrastructure development of the Prasar Bharati or Akashvani and specially All India Radio and the Doordarshan. So first statement is true. Next is, the Union Cabinet also approved the National Green Hydrogen Mission worth rupees 19,744 crores. So this statement is also true. The Cabinet has approved the investment of rupees 2,600 crore for the 382 megawatt Sunni Dam hydroelectric project in Himachal Pradesh by the state-owned Satluj Jal Vidut Nigam Limited. This statement is also true. But remember, Sunni Dam hydroelectric project is situated in Himachal Pradesh. And you can also remember the Union Cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has accorded ex post facto approval for the naming of Greenfield International Airport in Mopa in Goa as the Manohar Lal International Airport, Mopa, Goa. And the airport has been named after the Dr. Manohar Parikarji, a 4th-time Chief Minister of Goa, Defense Minister of India in commemoration of his contribution to the development of the modern Goa. So all the statements are correct. So answer of this question is all A, B, C. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the visit of Draupadi Murmuji, the President of India, to Rajasthan in January 2023? Draupadi Murmuji, the President of India, inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for various projects during the 2-day visit to Rajasthan from 3rd to 4th of January 2023. So let's find out which statement is correct. First is Draupadi Murmu, the President of India, inaugurated Samvidhan Udyan, Mayur Stambh, National Flag Post and statues of Mahatma Gandhi and Maharana Pratap at Raj Bhavan, Jaipur. First statement is important and first statement is true. Next, she also virtually inaugurated the transmission system for solar energy zone in Rajasthan and laid the foundation stone for the 700 megawatt Pavgada solar power project of the Satluj Jal Vidut Nigam Limited. This statement is wrong statement because she inaugurated 1000 megawatt. 1000 megawatt, not Pavgada, this is Bikaner. Bikaner solar power project of the Satluj Jal Vidut Nigam Limited. So this statement is wrong. Next, she participated in the event to launch the national campaign on Rise, Rising India through the spiritual empowerment organized by Brahma Kumaris at the Mount Abu in Rajasthan. This statement is also true. So the 18th National Zamburi of the Bharat Scouts and the Guide was inaugurated by Draupadi Murmu, President of India, at Pali, Rajasthan also. So all the statements are correct except B. So only correct statement is A and C. So answer of this question is 4. Moving to next question. In which airport Union Minister of MSMEs Narayan Raneji has inaugurated an India-made intelligent tray retrieval system in January 2023? So very simple question, and this is Manohar International Airport, Mopa International Airport. Answer of this question is 3, and recently we already covered this question that Mopa International Airport renamed as Manohar International Airport and it is renamed after the name of Manohar Parrikar ji. So Narayan Raneji, the Union Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, inaugurated an India-made intelligent tray retrieval system, which is also known as ITRS system, manufactured by Messer SJK Innovations Private Limited on MSME's Make in India company at Manohar International Airport, which is also known as Mopa International Airport. And this made in India ITRS system is also patented in India. And this ITRS is an artificial intelligence based fully automatic machine with advanced screening technology that helps in providing enhanced passenger security. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the visit of the Union Minister of External Affairs Subramaniam Jaishankar ji to Republic of Cyprus and Republic of Austria from 29th of December to 3rd of January 2023? So let's find out which statement is correct. First one is, during Subramaniam Jaishankar visit to Cyprus, India signed agreement in a number of fields including defense and military cooperation with the Cyprus. And the year of 2022 commemorated the 60th anniversary of India-Cyprus diplomatic ties, which were established on 10th of February 1962. So first statement is true. Cyprus became the 111th country to sign the framework agreement of the India-led International Solar Alliance as well as the 92nd full member country to join International Solar Alliance. This statement is very important. Mark, this statement is very important and this statement is true. During his visit to Austria, India and Austria signed an agreement on mobility and migration and the working holiday program. And the visit commemorated the 75 years of India diplomatic ties with Austria, which were established in 1949. So this statement is also true. It means all the statements are correct. Answer of this question is all A, B, C. 4 is the answer. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are incorrect? Incorrect with respect to the annual report of the ombudsman schemes for a time period of 1st April 2021 to 31st March of 2022. It means we are talking about financial year 22 released by RBI in the month of January 2023. So let's find out which statement is incorrect. First one is, Issues related to ATM and debit cards were the highest at 17.28% of the total received at the Office of Banking Ombudsman from 1st of April to 11th of October 2021. So this statement is wrong because issues related to ATM and debit card were the highest at not 17.28, it is 14.65% of the total received at the Office of Banking Ombudsman from 1st of April to 11th of November 2021. And these were followed by mobile and electronic banking, and total electronic and mobile banking applications received 13.64%. Second is complaints relating to the digital modes of payment and transactions were the highest in number, constituting 42.12% of the total complaints received during the year. This statement is true. Next is the volume of complaints received under the Ombudsman scheme and consumer education and the protection cells during 21-22 increased by 9.39% at 4,18,000 as compared to the financial year 21. So this statement is also true. And Reserve Bank of India lifted restriction on Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services Limited on recovery operations via third-party collection agent. So only incorrect statement is A. So answer of this question is 1. Moving to next question. Name the bank that has recently partnered with the British Airways Executive Club and Qatar Airways Privilege Club to introduce first of its kind multi-branded credit card. So mark this question in the very important section, and this bank is IndusInd Bank. Answer of this question is 4. So IndusInd partnered with the British Airways Executive Club and the Qatar Airways Privilege Club to introduce the first of its kind unique multi-branded credit card powered by Visa. And the multi-branded credit card will be launched and made available to the consumers in the first quarter of financial year 23-24. And the credit card will be available in the infinite variant of the Visa and offers best-in-class rewards along with the multiple benefits that will elevate international travel experience of the customers. Moving to next question. Which city will host India's first ever ABB FIA Formula E World Championship race in February 2023? Mark this question in the very important section, and this city is Hyderabad, Telangana. Answer of this question is 1. So Hyderabad, Telangana is set to host the 2023 Hyderabad E-Prix. E-Prix, India's first ever ABB FIA or Federation International the Automobile Formula E World Championship race, which is all electric motorsports, on 11th of February 2023. And 2023 Hyderabad E-Prix is round 4 of the 17 races for the 9th season of the Formula E World Championship. And 2022-23 ABB FIA Formula E World Championship marks the 9th season of the championship, which will be organized between January and July 2023. And the race will be held at New Hyderabad Street Circuit alongside with Hussain Sagar Lake, Hyderabad, Telangana. So mark this question in the very important section. Moving to next question. The Indian High Commission celebrated the 51st anniversary of Maitri Divas in Dhaka or Bangladesh on Dash Day. So this was celebrated on 6th of December 2022. Static question, general knowledge based question, because the Indian High Commission celebrated the 51st anniversary of the Maitri Divas in Dhaka on 6th of December. It was on this day in 1971 that India recognized an independent and sovereign Bangladesh 10 days before Bangladesh liberation. Moving to next question. In January 2023, the central government declared the Resistance Front (TRF) as a terrorist organization under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act or UAPA Act. Who is the current presiding officer of the Tribunal for the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act? And he is Dinesh Kumar Sharma. Answer of this question is second. So Justice Dinesh Kumar Sharma of Delhi High Court is the presiding officer of the Tribunal for the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, also known as UAPA, related to the ban on the Popular Front of India or PFI and its associates. And central government has declared the Resistance Front (TRF) as a terrorist group under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. And the Ministry of Home Affairs announced this TRF is recruiting youth through online mediums for the furtherance of the terrorist activities. And the TRF came into existence in 2019 as a proxy outfit of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, a proscribed terrorist organization. Moving to next question. In January 2023, the Union Cabinet approved continuation of schemes of Ministry of Development of the Northeastern region with an outlay of almost 12,800 crore for the balance period of the 15th Finance Commission from 2022-23 to 2025-26. So answer of this question is 4. So remember, it is based on the Expenditure Finance Committee recommendations. The funding for different northeastern states will be provided. Like almost 8,100 crore will be provided for Northeast Special Infrastructure Scheme. So remember, the Union Cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has approved the continuation of schemes of the Ministry of Development of the Northeastern region for the balance period of 15th Finance Commission, that is 2022-23 to 2025-26. And the total outlay of this expanded schemes are 12,800 crore, or exact is 12,882.2 crore. Moving to next question. The Birsa Munda International Hockey Stadium, India's largest hockey stadium in terms of seated or the chair capacity of 20,000, has recently inaugurated in which state? By the name of Birsa Munda, you can guess this is the state of Odisha. Answer of this question is 3. So Naveen Patnaik ji, the Chief Minister of Odisha, inaugurated the Birsa Munda International Hockey Stadium, which is India's largest hockey stadium in terms of seated or the chair capacity of 20,000 in Rourkela. Exact area is Rourkela in Odisha. And Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik also inaugurated the World Cup Village at Birsa Munda Hockey Stadium Complex in the Rourkela. And Chief Minister also inaugurated the Mo Bus Seva, Mo Bus or the My Bus service in the Rourkela with 30 vehicles to ensure hassle-free movement during the Hockey World Cup. And the stadium is inaugurated ahead of the 15th International or the International Hockey Federation Hockey World Cup. And this is Odisha's Hockey Men's World Cup 2023, which is scheduled to be held from 13th to 29th of Jan 2023 in Bhubaneswar and Rourkela in Odisha. And the stadium with a total capacity of 21,000 is built at a cost of 146 crore and was built by the Odisha Industrial Infrastructure and Development Corporation, IDCO. Moving to next question. Which company has recently received a debt broker license from the Securities and Exchange Board of India? So this company is Golden PI Technology. Answer of this question is 4. And the license is expected to boost investor trust in the online bond and debenture investment space. So with this, Golden PI Technology became the first online bond platform provided to obtain a debt brokerage license from the SEBI. So SEBI also relaxed the certain provisions of the SEBI listing and obligation disclosure requirement regulations of 2015 relating to the dispatch of a hard copy of an annual report or the financial statement due in the year of 2023 to debenture holders till 30th of September 2023, which shall take effect immediately. The earlier extension lasted until the 31st of December 2022, but now the extension is till 30th of September 2023. So remember, SEBI has granted a debt broker license to the Golden PI Technologies, which is a Bengaluru, Karnataka based financial technological company backed by the Indian financial services provider Zerodha Broking Limited. Moving to next question. Which organization has recently launched the Utkarsh 2.0 medium-term strategy framework for the period of 2023-25? So the keyword here is Utkarsh 2.0, and this is started by Reserve Bank of India. Answer of this question is 3, and mark this question in the most important section. So the Governor of Reserve Bank of India, Shaktikant Das ji, launched this Utkarsh 2.0, which is a medium-term strategy framework for the period of 2023-25. So Utkarsh 2.0 would enable the RBI to respond to the socio-economic challenges in both the proactive and the reactive manner. and Utkarsh 2.0 relies on the strengths of the Utkarsh 2022 by retaining the 6 vision statement as well as the core purposes, values and the mission statement. Moving to next question. Name the bank that has recently partnered with the Open Financial Technologies Limited to launch a fully native digital current account. And this bank is Axis Bank. Answer of this question is 1. So this is Axis' first collaboration with the financial technological company to develop a fully digital current account. And the existing current account holders of the Axis Bank will have access to the 250 banking services from the Axis Bank as well as Open's financial automation tools for the business management. So Axis Bank Limited, India's third largest private sector bank, has partnered with the Open or the Open Financial Technologies Private Limited, a digital banking firm, to give its customer a fully native digital current account journey. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the On-Time Performance Review 2022 released in January 2023? So let's read out the statement. First is, according to the On-Time Performance Review 2022 released by Cirium, which is the aviation analytics company, the Kempegowda International Airport in Bengaluru, Karnataka and the Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi were listed among the top 10 in the top performing global airports of the 2022. And out of 10, the total rank of the Kempegowda International Airport is second, and Indira Gandhi International Airport lies on the 7th rank at the global level. So first statement is true statement. Next is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport, Mumbai in Maharashtra stood at the 11th spot. This statement is also true. Next is the top performing global airport of 2022 listed is topped by Haneda Airport, which is situated in Japan. So this is very important because the second rank goes to Kempegowda all over world and the first rank goes to Haneda Airport, which is situated in Japan. And third rank goes to Salt Lake City International Airport, which is situated in United States of America. This statement is also true. So all the statements are correct. So answer of this question is all 1, 2, 3. So 4 is the answer. Next question is, in January 2023, M. Pranesh became India's Dash Grandmaster after winning the Rilton Cup 2022-23 in Stockholm, Sweden. This question is most important question because M. Pranesh became India's 79th Grandmaster. Answer of this question is 3. 79th Grandmaster after crossing the 2500 elo points or the rating, winning the Rilton Cup 2022-23 held in Stockholm, Sweden. And the Rilton Cup is the first tournament of the FIDE circuit, and Pranesh is the 28th Grandmaster from the Tamil Nadu state because he belongs to Tamil Nadu. Moving to next question. Which company has recently partnered with the Board of Control for the Cricket in India or the BCCI as the official sponsor of the Indian cricket team? Again, this question is very important, and this company is Keval Kiran Clothing Limited. Answer of this question is 1. So Keval Kiran Clothing Limited, which is also known as KKCL, the retail giant, has announced plans to enter its flagship brand Killer into a strategic partnership with the BCCI as the Indian cricket team official sponsor, and the brand will now be displayed on the Team India jersey right upper chest, and KKCL will put on the brand Killer logo on the Team India kit until the 31st of May 2023. Moving to next question. Name the company that has recently signed a partnership with the International Hockey Federation for 15th edition of Odisha Hockey Men's World Cup 2023, and this tournament is started on 13th of Jan 2023. So this question is very important, and this group or the company is JSW Group. Answer of this question is 4. So International Hockey Federation has signed a partnership with the JSW Group for upcoming 15th edition of the Hockey's Men World Cup 2023 Bhubaneswar, Rourkela, which will be conducted between 13th to 29th of Jan 2023 in Odisha. And JSW Group supports and promotes Olympics in India and has created an Olympic Training Institute in the Inspire Institute of Sport. It also has Olympic training center across India. Moving to next question. Which of the following points is or are correct with respect to the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana? So let's find out which statement is correct, but this is static question just for general knowledge. First is, the Jan Aushadhi scheme was launched by the Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and the Fertilizers in the month of November 2008. This statement is true. And the scheme was renamed as Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana in December 2016. In December 2016. So this scheme was relaunched as the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Yojana in September 2015 and further renamed as Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana in December 2016. This statement is also true. The government has set a target to increase the number of Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras to 2000 by the end of March 2023. This statement is basically wrong. Because the government has set a target to increase the number of Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras to 10,500 by the end of the March 2025. So this statement is wrong. So only correct statement is both 1 and 2. So answer of this question is 4. So remember, Jan Aushadhi scheme was launched by the Department of Pharmaceuticals under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers in November 2008 with the aim of ensuring the availability of quality generic medicines at affordable prices for all. And the scheme was launched as the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Yojana in September 2015 but further renamed as Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana in December 2016. Now the target of the government is to open or increase the number of Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras to 10,500 by the year of 2025. So answer of this question is both 1 and 2. Moving to next question. Alipay Singapore, an arm of the Alibaba Group Holding Limited, has recently sold dash stake in the Zomato for rupees 1631 crore. So this question is very important, but you can remember this question from the slide, and total stake is 3% almost, or 3.07% exactly. So answer of this question is 1. So Alipay Singapore, an arm of the Alibaba Group Holding Limited, sold almost 3% stake in the online food delivery giant Zomato for almost rupees 1600 crore via an open market transaction. So Alipay Singapore Holding offloaded around almost 26 crore 28 lakhs 73,507 shares, almost 26 crore shares, aggregating to 3.07% stake in the firm according to the bulk deal data available with the National Stock Exchange. So this is all for today. I think you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching this video, and you can join our all platform like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and Telegram channel. Telegram channel link is given in the description box. Thank you guys again for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Take care. Bye-bye.